one's going to be Infernal Shrines, and it was B-Step's pick.
B-Step is going to the Infernal Shrines. I think that makes way more sense for them than it does for No Tomorrow. But it should help No Tomorrow in the sense that you have to consider a Kerrigan. At least I think so. Some teams have completely neglected her, so maybe I'm wrong in that sense. But either way, it would open up a ban, which is then, if it is the argument of the comfort of Casanova is really what's hurting them, there should be a map where that is a little bit more lenient. So we'll see how that works out, though. As first pick now, No Tomorrow. Probably sticking to the Tassadar.
You know what I think it might be? I think they want Artanis.
Yeah, they should be able to get it on this map, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was saying. If they really think it's the lack of Artanis is the problem, then this is a map where they should be able to get it.
Because whatever they ban here, they ban TAS, B-Step, then says, do we give them Kerrigan or do we give them Artanis? Maybe they leave both up, but I don't know how it would be to Kerrigan versus Artanis.
Yeah, I think the best option in that, if I was to do any of those, I would remove the Artanis, let them pick up the Kerrigan, and then take the Ragnaros. If I was going to do any of the trio, because at least with the Ragnaros, you accent the map and just obviously you do decent into complementing the map itself, which is a heavy misplay for a lot of teams when going into Kerrigans, is they neglect the shrines. They neglect them so heavily that they just don't have the shrine control, and eventually Kerrigan snowballs out of control. But the ban on to Malfurion here for No Tomorrow.
You know who I've been excited to see on Infernal Shrines quite a bit here in HGCNA is Medivh.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. He's, you know, I think it is a spot for him, the long, consistent fights around the map objective, decent. You know, obviously portals are insane what they can do with the Punishers. I mean, they kind of breaks my mind sometimes, some of the things that can happen there. And Glaurung did a very good job, you know, when we saw him on the Medivh, on this map specifically. So I agree. I think it's an awesome tool. I just don't know if either one of these teams have it in their arsenal, you know?
That is not what I was expecting.
Well, yeah, no. They've almost permanent ban TAS, so
Yeah, they do have a huge emphasis on Tassadar.
It's tough. It's a tough position. I think I like it. Over any of the other options if Tassadar was up to take that one, because you can synergize that with any of the other picks, thinking the Ragnaros and the Kerrigan, and it working out really well. But if you give up and you pick the Kerrigan or the Ragnaros, you're going to have the TAS into one of those melees. And in all those circumstances, except for the Tassadar, you look at that and go, you know, I think we made a mistake. How do we stop this?
Now we're looking at what B-Step want to get. Kerrigan's a possibility. McIntyre has been a long-time Kerrigan player, one of his favorites. Whether it would be him, though, or iDream, potentially. I think I have the iDreams played Kerrigan in the past. I think probably it would still be McIntyre. They do have the flexibility, but Diablo, Ragnaros, getting these two strong synergistic heroes. Again, Diablo for B-Step, for King Caffeine, and now this time adding Sulfurous Smash to it. Already scary.
Yeah, it is. And I can't help but feel like No Tomorrow is going to neglect the Kerrigan, I think. I think we're going to see another draft where she makes it through quite far. If not, obviously this would probably be more of a transition for her. I just can't help but feel like we often haven't seen her. There's the Vala.
ETC.
Is it going to be an Ariel? I would take Ariel. Oh, man. Going with
They've
the
been
ETC.
doing this a lot, all day today, especially. I hope it works out for them. I do. No, I do. It's just that it just hasn't so far. And maybe Volatassadar is the change up for them, though.
It could be. I just... The tone in which you say, you're like, they're going to go with the ETC, and I kind of give this sigh, and then you're like, I hope that works out for them. Just like throwing the sass.
Yeah, no, it's just that they haven't had a win with them yet. And like, at what point maybe they try something else up? Like, get Diablo higher. I don't know. I know that they couldn't here. And it's good from B-Step to be able to see that it's a warrior issue for No Tomorrow, and so they do steal Diablo away. So it's well played from B-Step here.
Zarya removal as well. A little overkill maybe when it comes to the survivability. If No Tomorrow managed to be able to get it. But either way, it is a safe, if you will, ban. Now what does No Tomorrow want to remove? They already have the Volatas. Do they want to remove the Death Ball? A Kerrigan Band would not be terrible from them. It makes B-Step's draft very Death Ball-y, but, you know, Death Ball seems to work on certain maps. Infernal Shrine's one of them.
It's a hard spot for No Tomorrow, too, because they've already banned Malfurion, but maybe they could ban another support. Nah, they're going to ban Gul'dan. That'll be good. That is one way that some teams have been trying to go up against this double support style, is to just kill them with poison. Poison that you can't continue to shield and heal through.
Kill it with poison.
Kill it with poison.
Okay. So I do expect VSEP. Are they going to okay, more posturing questions. Do you think they're going to make the transition into that Medivh style now that we see so many heavy, or is it going to be more of like picking up the Kerrigan and all death balling, or are we just going to see another Chromie because they expect the Ariel pick coming out and they're like, nah, we're just going to be able to deny that. We're going to remove. I don't have words.
Wow.
This is.
But Rhaegar's still up, and Rhaegar gives.
I know, that's
wave
why it's
clear.
so confusing.
He has a cleanse.
I don't get it. Ariel wasn't even picked. Why are we picking Chromie?
Maybe they just. It's their way of not letting No Tomorrow get Ariel Volatas, right? They say, fine, pick Ariel and lose
Okay, that's not
to
how
Temporal Loop.
That's not how that works. Literally, if
They're just waiting.
If in all scenarios you pick the Chromie as a response to the Ariel, you win the video game. You never pick the Chromie first and say, "Hey, do you want a chance to win the video game?" That's you're literally going, "Hey guys, we're just gonna lay our cards out here. You can go ahead, take that, and we'll see if you want to do anything with it."
You actually gave me your pin.
Yeah.
Is this your card?
Yes, that's it.
Do you want it back?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm tilted. Last time we saw. Not like this. No.
They called the bluff. The bluff of the cards.
Oh, they say, yeah, they were just like, well, all right, we'll take your Chromie and we'll stick to what we know. My goodness. North America, this is where we are. To B-Step now. All right, so on a serious note, where does B-Step go from here? Because they have legitimately almost negative shrine control. For those who don't know what negative shrine control is, it's actually shrine control so bad that you're giving your opponent's skeletal defenders by just existing around the shrines. And that's what they have. With the Kharazim, like, Diablo has no wave clear anymore. Kharazim sure is not going to be able to do that. Chromie's only got 2 spells to be able to fling that direction.
I'm scared they're going to Sylvanas.
Like, yes. Oh, please no. Please no. I think you're so right. Okay, Tyrande instead. All right. Full commitment to the pick composition.
Yeah, whoever gets Temporal Looped, if Tiger's not there with Crystal Aegis, is getting destroyed. Just Hunter's Mark, Lunar Flare, all of Chromie's things, destruction.
What we just witnessed in this draft. Chromie card comes out, say, I bet you won't Ariel. They go, no, we're still going to Ariel. And then they go, all right, since you Arieled, Chromie wasn't enough of an answer. We're going to pick the Tyrande on top, and we're just going to be so focused on that. What if Ariel just pulls out a big nope chuck test on you, busts out Resurrection,
Yeah, I
says,
knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this. We'll just kill them.
Yeah.
They can die,
Like,
and then I'll spend 5 years resurrecting.
Actually, okay, so I'm never going to be an advocate for that because I just think it's ridiculous. But into a scenario where there is no shrine control on your opponent's side and they've committed 2 people solely to be able to win the fight, Chromie probably will never let you complete a channel, but it's one of the few scenarios where I go like, I've never looked at that and been like, no, that's got a shot. This is one of the few drafts where I'm like, I would sit down and think about it and be like, you guys, this might be the moment.
Man.
What? Oh, wow. We are playmaking.
Like, at the beginning of the draft was fine. Tasvala, strong. Then they had ETC2, and while I'm questioning it specifically for No Tomorrow, that's a great combo to add ETC2.
Oh, yeah.
Other side, Diablo, Ragnaros. Woo, that's terrifying. Kharazim, too, even a little bit there. But then Chromie, Ariel, Kerrigan, Tyrande. That's how I feel about that.
It's so good. Oh, man. I just hope it's better than the last Chromie we saw at a B-Step. That's all I'm hoping for. Beyond that, I don't care. I just want it to be better than that Into the Zeratul on Towers of Doom, because that Chromie wasn't live very much anyways, so.
Well, we're ready for this madness. So let's get into game number 3 between B-Step and No Tomorrow.
I'm sorry. It has gotten weird. So is it 7-sided strike then? It's gotta be. They've all-ined into kill potential.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen APM go Palm yet. I think the only person to take Palm, was Tiger.
Yeah.
Again, there he is. It's McIntyre playing Chromie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but that puts K1 Pro into Ronda.
That's another classic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's another one of his heroes. Is he going to go full auto attack? No, actually going towards the Owl build. More poke focused. Oh, maybe another beautiful iteration as a response to the the Ariel, rather than, because then you have another single target burst that forces Aegis way too frequently, just like Temporal Loop. But then you have the poke as well. Toronto going into Owl build. More poke, more initiation, just more things to counter the Ariel.
Tiger is going to have to make dang sure that he knows what he's doing with his Aegises, because it's going to be crucial versus B-Step's comp.
Yeah.
But if they can do that, then this whole time Kerrigan will just be eating Shrine Guardian after Shrine Guardian.
Yeah, so B-Step has so little Shrine control that I can't help feel like No Tomorrow. Once those cooldowns are done, just all in the Shrine, take a minute, step away for a second, get ready for the next combo to come in, respond defensively, and this game should be theirs. B-Step obviously has gotten a little bit weird. I think I'm beginning to understand a little bit of the logic as we move on, but more than anything, it's so cooldown focused that if No Tomorrow really, understands that, waits for the rotation, then proceeds to kill the Skulldual defenders after, they are in an amazing position in this game.
It's funny too, because both teams are kind of checking out where each other's positioning are, maybe trying to get a first kill and easy pick off here in the early game, with Kerrigan being on one side that is someone who wants to get those early picks, and with the ETC2 to follow up, there's a lot of potential there. But on the other side too, playing with fire a little bit, literally because Ragnaros is there, but also Diablo Tyrande is a classic when looking for pick comps.
It is very much so. It's a lot harder to do after, the major stun changes came in a long time ago. But we'll see. It is, I think it's more No Tomorrow just trying to figure out, hey, what's happening? Largely because you don't look at B-Step's draft and go, oh, I know this laning matchup. I know what's most optimal. It's just kind of all over the place. One huge counter to B-Step's composition as the game goes later, just outside of skirmishing, is just the raw lack of wave clear on the side of B-Step. Like, legitimately, they could almost all focus on just macro game, and B-Step would have to commit so many resources to be able to clear even just a Shaman camp. Because Ragnaros is the only hero that does that well. There's the first combo done very well. Instantly deleting there. Fallout goes down. Casanova with the response. So 11 skeletal defenders, but very well done.
I don't know if I've ever seen a health bar go from 100 to 0 like that.
Yeah, it was... welcome to Toronto Chromie Diablo, I guess.
Level 5 is here, which means that Chromie has her level 7 talent too. Detainment Strike hits King Caffeine, who dives right back in on top of Tiger JK, but No Tomorrow are all just trying to buy time. They know that how they win this video game is by having control over these shrines, and they've done a great job so far. Yes, No Tomorrow lost Fala, but even with that, still are well on their way to getting the first Punisher of the game.
Yeah, Ragnaros has soaked those side lanes, though, giving them that 3/4 of a level advantage. See if we can see No Tomorrow be able to make up for that now as the Shrine phase has concluded. Punisher is going to, I was going to say execute, but honestly, like, he's too close to executing people that it might be a real thing. Sidewall was focused here for No Tomorrow, but nobody to capitalize on that. That does seem like a disappointingly frequent decision made in North America on Infernal Shrines nowadays is, Sidewall goes down and everybody just kind of ignores it, or fails to be able to even follow up onto the Punisher. Just can't help but feel like our games are extended a little bit too long because these teams aren't aggressive when the Punisher leaps over.
Yeah, the wall goes down, but if nobody is in the immediate vicinity to try to take somebody out, then there's a lot more respect of the opponent, a team, and their ability to turn it around. But I don't know, if Ragnaros is there too though, and you dive underneath
Yeah, that's true.
with his Molten Swing, once he goes into Molten Core, all of the members could be stunned and then obliterated, especially with B-Steps on.
Yeah, I think the Ragnaros is a rare example, but I mean, you know, there has been, even without him, just teams are very, very safe when it comes to Inferno Shrines, at least in North America so far. But the Punisher went over. Experience has gone to a little bit closer to even. Both of the teams are now going to be, you know, they're backing out. Inferno Shrine seems to be a map that teams are very comfortable with not forcing an advantage and kind of just waiting it out for the next map objective, which No Tomorrow, again, has the control. B-Steps constantly looking for those picks.
Some fancy talent builds to talk about while we have a break. McIntyre going the same Chromie build we saw from him earlier, Compounding Ether, which is about halfway done to increase damage with Sandblast. Piercing Sands, so not getting Bronze Talons with it. It's all about making sure that he can pierce to hit the target, whoever is going to be the target with Sandblast, and Dragon's Eye with more damage. No Temporal Loop. Slowing Sands will be a heroic pickup for Chromie. On the other side, Tiger JK went for Repeated Offense. Not a talent that's often seen for Ariel, but looking to increase the damage off the Containment Strike. You have to be able to stun with 6 there. 6 hits. Jason gets out. Nice job from the rest of No Tomorrow to keep Jason safe. Losing Bala at the beginning of this shrine would have been a rough one.
All right. I'm just going to ask.
Okay. Slowing Sands? This is about slowing Sands?
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad.
Ask. I'm just going to...
You sound like a dad. I'm not mad. I just need to know.
I'm just disappointed. And you're like, that's the same thing. Yeah, okay, so what's your thoughts? Why slowing Sands? I need the Gilly answer here because I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
Why pick this poke, kill, threatening, anti-Ariel composition, and the minute you get to the point of actually having the tools to be lethal, you take a step back and go, no, you know what? I really wanted slowing Sands.
What if it was never about the Ariel?
What if... All right, that's a good point. Things I haven't thought about. What if it wasn't about the Ariel? It had to be, right? Those last 2 games were very norm-ish for B-Step. We don't just have a Chromie. We've got a Tyrande as well. By the way, Kerrigan just deleted here into this fight. Very well done. Only Apocalypse was used. See if they can get more. That was the Sulfura Smash, not going to land. 7-sided strike 2. Urho is in a tough spot.
Slowing Sands!
Oh, that's it!
Power slide, though!
Oh!
Oh, Owl stays alive! Oh, there's what they needed. Lunar Flare, Sandblast, and another kill for B-Step. But B-Step still lost the Punisher, so they didn't get those kills fast enough to be able to get a Punisher of their own. But we'll make this cleanup faster. Honestly, I don't know.
What if it's a Gul'dan replacement? That's the only other thing I can think of. But the Tyrande doesn't make sense then. That Aegis, about the equal level of sense there. Good force wall to stun as well onto him. Combo comes out. A lot of harass going on the Cap, but his HP sits still above 50%. Molten Core is dropped. Chromie's soaking the side lanes. And things are not looking good here for No Tomorrow.
Stage dive drops arrow in.
Oh, I thought they were going to turn that so fast.
Tiger JK, no, don't die to meteors, please. Okay, slowing Sands. Well, okay, so what about the fact that the shrines, you're going to get a lot of value out of the slowing Sands, the positioning of shrines. All of the chokeholds.
I agree.
If Kerrigan goes in, you put the slowing Sands on the other side of the shrine so that she has nowhere to retreat to. She did not pick up adaptation, so she can't ravage back to her team. You just get her in a position where she can't get back. Aegis has to be used. After that, Hunter's Mark delete.
I love the idea of it, like especially the slowing Sands. I think it's it's an underestimated heroic. I'm not saying that slowing Sands doesn't have a spot. Oh goodness, Tiger JK. He walked on one wrong trap and ended up going down. The Apocalypse is going to be used. McIntyre got comboed by Casanova, but they aren't there to be able to confirm the kill. She uses her little legs. Run away! No, Talking Trees! Yes, you monster. Get away from her. Jason goes down as well. And it looks like Talking Trees not going to have the prescience yet. That's going to be 1E. The pin, not available. He walks away. But all of what you said is like, no, that makes sense. Like, I don't think it's that bad. The only thing that, when I hit the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm lost, is the Tyrande. With on top of all of the rest is the Tyrande on it. That's where I'm just, you know, completely lost. But it's working out.
It is.
They got the 13 talents here. You know, they're going in, they're starting the initiations, things are working out for them.
Still no timeout. Even versus Kerrigan, ETC, Detainment Strikes. McIntyre laughs in the face of danger. Will not take anything to keep him safe. Going inside 4, reaching through time to get increased range on Sandblast and Dragon's Breath. And here comes the next Shrine phase. Jason diving in, trying to push back some of the members of B-Step who now have a tied up skeletal defender count, but Casanova's on the point. That's exactly what they need. And look, that's exactly what I was saying for the point of slowing Sands where to have it.
Yeah, it's doing a really good job. The isolation that it's managed to make happen. Cap goes in with the combo. There's going to be the HGC stage dive onto the back 4. Now iDream's in a tough spot. Combo not going to end up hitting them all. Only one. Casanova falling slow. The Nightfall there coming out from Toronto was not enough to pin against the wall. Everybody is trying to survive in the back here, but No Tomorrow's health pools are far too low.
Nobody could escape. Nobody could run away.
Nope. They couldn't.
There was Starfall on one side and Slowing Sands on the other. There was nowhere to run.
It's just win the Shrine whenever they press their heroics. It's so far, it is, you know, it is working out for them, but no Tomorrow. If they manage to figure that out, if they figure it out, it's the, you know, the press the R button, win the Shrine approach. Do you think they can respond? I've seen weird press like R win the Shrine. Europe, I'm not kidding. They ran March of the Warlocks 3 times on me with the exact same thought process. They've done Tyrande, I've seen Murkies, I've seen everything out of the European region on the how to win the Shrine composition. And the #1 strategy is make them press R, walk away.
But what do No Tomorrow have to do? What is the figure out?
Threaten the Shrine control, wait for the R button, suppress, walk away.
Yeah, but Slowing Sands just keeps going.
Slowing Sands does, but Starfall does not.
Yeah, they have to somehow force, but so far, K1 Pro has been very, very...
Oh my.
Casanova's body just flew into the air. He's been so patient with Starfall until No Tomorrow are fully committed. Like, ETC is in the back, and then Starfall goes down, and there's no hope to get back for the team.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I am surprised to see that ETC is not there all the time to make it to where there's at least somebody healthier to focus on, you know, in the front line. The fact that they did go to stage dive on No Tomorrow, I can't help but feel like, you know, even if they're going stage dive, at least going to be a threat somewhere for your opponents, you know, to worry about getting the Tyrande combo onto them. But No Tomorrow does not go that route, Urho specifically, and it puts them into a position to where the back 4 are very, very vulnerable.
I want to know if it's going to be the Pocket of Time upgrade to Slowing Sands. So it no longer will cost a mana, and it increases the slow. Here comes the invade from No Tomorrow. This is 16 versus 13. No Tomorrow running out of options, and they know it. Stage dive comes in. Everybody jumping on top of King Caffeine, who uses Apocalypse. Nobody gets hit from No Tomorrow, but still, Jason is being obliterated from standing inside of the Starfall for so long. ETC's already out. There goes Hunter's Mark II. Trees trying to keep Jason alive. He's turning around, throwing out damage so that maybe Tiger JK can heal them back up. Karazim gets taken out. It's a 1-for-1 so far.
Aegis is still up, too. Casanova's in a tough spot there. Jason, Force Wall is going to be used to try and zone. Casanova, Sally's by himself. See if McIntyre hits it here. There comes the slow. Spells come out. Not going to land. The Lunar Flare. Oh, no. Chromie's got it. Don't worry. All right, so very well done confirming the kills. But I don't know, that fight was just all over for No Tomorrow. It is, they seem to be kind of, you know, falling apart a little bit when it comes to the synergy, not really knowing. And again, it comes a lot down to getting the early lead. That teams seem insanely more comfortable when they get the early lead.
Yeah, we've noticed that from a few teams.
A lot, yeah.
In NA. But the problem is that they now are so far behind that if they can't figure out how to come back in this game, then they're just going to lose the entire series. There is another Shrine about to activate. No Tomorrow don't have 16. They would love to be able to get a Punisher and relieve some of the pressure. The nice thing is the sieging from B-Step has not been crazy so far. No Tomorrow still have all of their keeps, so there's no issues of catapults to deal with. And B-Step, again, the wave clear. It's taken them a while to get to the Shrine.
Yeah. If No Tomorrow had focused a little bit more macro, I mean, they really could possibly punish that from B-Step. Detainment Strike lands. The combo comes in. The Aegis is going to deny, but for how long? APOC used instantly to delete it here. The cleanse is now used onto iDream as they aggress, but two people, it's not even, there's not even a shot for No Tomorrow anymore, it looks like in these fights. Chromie Tyrande is, it's the OP, I guess. It's just, there's not a shot. Every fight that they open up with, B-Step instantly confirms a kill, and No Tomorrow's trying.
Well, did they need to fight there?
No.
They could have gone pushed lanes, gotten mercenary camps, maybe even just taken out a fort. There's a fort in the bottom lane to get 16 to defend. They still have a fort up in top. Yeah, it does seem like the panic has set in for No Tomorrow here in this series.
Luckily for them, though, they will have the opportunity to be able to fight pre-20 for both sides on the same talent tier. It's 16 and 19, but that's the best they're going to get. The Punisher will be pushing against them. The fort's going down 100%, but they could, after the bait over the keep wall, move past it and force that fight, where that will be the small second where they'll have the same footing and see if they can turn it around. And they're going to just do it past that. Stage dive goes in. Cleanse is used already on the McIntyre. There is going to be the freeze. Casanova's in a tough spot. Aegis is now going to be dropped. He's still relatively low, and instantly Sulfura Smash confirms so much HP there of him. One going to be going down. Now that is two. Tassadar ends up using his E, but that's already so much one here for B-Step.
Only Tassadar and ETC remain to defend all of the push of B-Step, who claim the Fallen Shaman in the top to go along with the Punisher. We're not even going to see a bait for a jump. Now Trees can try to do that. He does have maybe Dimensional Shift to bait into the keep, but unfortunately for them, he's not in a great position to do so, and he's so concerned about the rest of B-Step that the keep goes down. iDream's taking over with Molten Core. The siege has come in. B-Step is going for the core, going for a 3-0 versus No Tomorrow. No Tomorrow is just about to respawn. Here comes Casanova, dives right back onto K1 Pro, gets thrown off of K1 Pro and goes down again, and this will be B-Step confirming a 3-0, finally getting their first series win in the Heroes Global Championship.
And it all started with a Chromie and it ended with the Tyrande. That series, everything about it. We saw B-Step make major adjustments, things looking good, to then suddenly, you know, we get to the final draft and it's like, where are they going? Still very dominant fashion for them.
Yeah.
With the getting the picks and everything, like, but yeah, very much a lot of No Tomorrow just hitting that moment where they're like, what are we going to be doing? Well, how do we come back in this game and just panic throughout? It didn't look so much in game one, but 2 and 3, especially 3, you really could see them kind of going, you know, what do we do? Screw it, let's just try and mosh pit, or stage dive, let's try and force this fight. And it's better than just letting the game end, but a little sloppy.
Yeah. What are you hoping to see from No Tomorrow as they continue throughout this part of the phase, heading into the clash in this next couple of weeks of Heroes Global Championship?
I mean, it's got to be just cleaning things up, I think, is the main point, right? Like, I think there's a lot of good information in those VODs, really just accepting kind of the mistakes and not making easy excuses for the, you know, the way that things get into. Like, I can't help but, like, we're talking about, so many teams feel so much more comfortable when getting the lead, and I can't help but feel like maybe it's a trend with, like, a practicing thing that's happening, because it's a lot of teams, and I can't help but feel like if a team gets a major lead, like, maybe it's more common now in scrimmages where teams just go, well, let's wait till we're on even footing, which is why the teams don't feel comfortable while behind. But either way, I think that would be my first one, is just figuring out what do we do when we're behind, and then when you are ahead, making sure things that are as clean as possible, especially communication.
We have seen so many flashes of brilliance from No Tomorrow, so I hope that they don't walk away from the series too disheartened, because especially their series versus Naventic, things looked great. They had such decisive victories when they were able to get victories in the first 2 games. But B-Step, now their first series win, that's got to feel good for these veterans.
It's hopefully so, especially the fact that it was a 3-0. You know, you can say, well, at least, you know, we managed to be able to do this. Things weren't too great forward or in the past. Hopefully going forward, they're going to be a little bit better. Keep up those changes that they made. I think that's number one. I don't know if I would stick to the Tyrande Chromie, but at least the adjustments in the draft that they made during week 1 and 2 and now on 3. So I like where they're headed. It's just where they end up is the real question, because they have so much potential.
They do. They have a lot of flexibility, as we saw with K1 Pro playing Thrall one game, not feeling the ranged assassin, but going back to
Sometimes you get bored of carrying.
His Tyrande. Yeah, right? McIntyre flexing his flexibility a little bit, bringing in Chromie a couple of times now. I can't wait to ask King Caff about that Chromie, by the way.
I have a lot of questions about the Chromie and the Tyrande.
Tyrande, all of the things. Yeah, we're waiting on King Caffeine now to be able to talk to him. B-Step now finally getting a series in this. Next up, we're going to have an awesome Series 2. What are you looking forward to with Gale Force Esports going up against Superstars?
I mean, for them, it's got to be, you know, a little bit. I want the Gale Force Esports that 3-0 Naventic. I don't want the one that lost 2-3 over to Team Freedom. I think is going to be a huge thing. Just really being able to see them. They came out so aggressive, and then a very, like, lost team. I want to see that confidence that we saw in, you know, week 1 coming out from them. And then Superstars is just going to be, you know, keeping up the common problems we see with them. So hopefully get adjusted. Again, feeling comfortable when ahead, struggling when behind.
Well, we're waiting for King Caffeine. Let's take a look at the standings once again now that B-Step has a point on the board. Again, Gale Force Esports and Superstars tied 2-1, and that's the series we're going into next. That series is very important for these teams because when you start looking at the Western Clash in a couple of weeks, it's the top 3 teams from the region who go. And if, for instance, there is a tie, then it does come down to, first off, who beat whom in the tie, as well as games. So knowing that these two are tied so far in standings, there's got to be just a big hope for both the teams to succeed.
Yeah, it's not saying that whoever wins definitely secured the spot or won't be going, but it's very likely that it will come down to this game, or at least we did the math, you know, caster math backstage, that it's very likely that whoever ends up winning this is really going to be able to ensure that they're far more likely to end up going to that brawl. Especially
Gale Force Esports, because this isn't the only series they play this weekend. After that, they play today, and then on Sunday, they're going to go up against Team 8. And Team 8 has the big weekend. It's what Naventic had in the first weekend, and then Team Freedom had last weekend, where you run the gauntlet of both Tempo Storm and Gale Force Esports in one weekend. So Gale Force, I'm sure, is wanting to go into that series versus one of the top teams in Team 8, knowing that they had that victory over Superstars.
Yeah, it would help a lot. I think especially after their performance against Freedom last week, any victory would be a huge one, especially the more confident they look. I think the better it's going to be really for them in their play, but then also just the future, because this, again, is a very long amount of time that we're going to have these guys playing, and they need to make sure. I think starting out, you know, with punches, you know, roll in as fast as you can. It really helps as the season gets longer and longer, where you don't feel like you have no hope of making it, I guess, to the top.
Now, B-Step did struggle going back to them in the early series. This is their first series win, but it seems like they did have a lot of tough competition early on. They went up against Team 8, lost there. They did go very close to being able to defeat Gale Force Esports as well. Nearly took them out. It was a full 5-game series. And then they played Tempo Storm. So maybe it is just that they've gotten all of these very difficult opponents out of the way, and then going off of this victory can now start to climb their way back up in the league.
Yeah, I hope so. It's just, we got a lot of stories in this week. You brought it up already before. A lot of cool stories going in this week, and a lot of, you know, dictating on even some for the brawls like we see with Superstars and Gale Force Esports. There is a whole lot to really figure out here, and we're only just starting. B-Step, I think that's expected, I guess. That they managed to get that 3-0, but in the end, it's just, it's not a huge victory, you know? I don't think that group of players goes home and is like, we did it. It's good. We can go home and we can be happy now. It's like, okay, we did what was expected of us, now what?
And we haven't even gotten to talk about Tempo Storm yet, too. Tempo Storm still up at the top, below Team 8 for now, but because, of course, it came down to game score. But yay, we have King Caffeine, so we'll talk about Tempo Storm soon. Hey, Caff, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, congratulations on your first win. Super excited to see you guys really coming together, starting to come up together with your new roster. Gotta ask straight up, what's with the Chromie and slowing Sands in this last game?
We're actually under the impression that Chromie's really strong in this meta. We think that she does really well against tasks, so we've been picking her a lot lately. We didn't have much success with her last week, but a lot of that was just due to like poor rotations and stuff like that.
Well, then, if it isn't for the Chromie, then why with the Tyrande? I mean, both of those heroes bring nothing to the shrines, that is Infernal Shrines. And you guys obviously had a very confident win, but like the thought process is like double poke into the